Good morning. We just finished lesson 6, the essay, which was the same fact pattern as an earlier lesson. In this case, Joe was bathing a multiply handicapped individual, heard cries for help, screams for help, and in fact had to make a decision about what to do. In the earlier version, we wanted to know what he should do. In this case, we're dealing with descriptive ethics, behavioral ethics. How do people actually behave? I promised to tell you how he did behave because this was a real case. Happened in the mid-'80s. It was an institutional setting in Pennsylvania. The individual who heard the screams, Joe, did in fact respond. The mother who was being attacked, to this day, I guess, would say he saved her baby, but the person in the tub drowned. It was eventually a very visible case in the local media. Joe was fired by the institution for failing in his duty. In this case, however, there was labor arbitration that would resolve the issue in the end. It went to arbitration, and the labor arbitrator, in fact, put him back to work with no back pay. That being the penalty. He lost the pay for the period he was not at work. The arbitrator made, I think, a very important point. Joe had to make a split-second decision. And certainly there's material in the text will help you understand how any one of us might make that decision. Not how we should, how we might make it. And the other point, I guess, that the arbitrator made that was important was that, you know what? Most of us are never in that situation. It's hard to be very judgmental about somebody who's put in a situation where they're having to, in this case, make a choice between one person's life and another person's life. Obviously, the arbitrator thought Joe was pretty certain the individual in the tub would not likely drown in the few minutes he'd be away. He was wrong, but the arbitrator wasn't going to hold him accountable for his job with respect to that error. This case has always reminded me of how lucky most of us are never to be in this situation, and how important it is when people are put in these extraordinary circumstances where there is no time to consider. Joe didn't have time to sit down and pull out a textbook and say, now let me check and think about what the issues are here. Joe had to respond in a visceral way to the situation. We need to be empathetic about that. It doesn't mean we always side with Joe, but it does mean that we need to remember that in the worst cases, these are not easy situations to resolve.